And I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record.
What an odd thing to say.
Good morning, Patriots. Welcome to the Ham and Bone Show. I am one of your hosts, Ham, and my other half, some would say my better half, Bone. What's up, Bone?
What's up, Renobs?
So great.
I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, it's like that movie, Clerks 2. I can't say
I don't think
it.
I'm allowed to say that.
I'm
I
not.
don't think I'm allowed to say that.
No, we're not allowed to say that. So we're just going to pass over it. It's over it. Today we're diving into some juicy stuff. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and how he's been caught, at the very least, embellishing various aspects of his military career to help himself politically. You heard that right. Walz has been claiming he retired as a command sergeant major, but he actually retired as a master sergeant. And he also claimed that he carried weapons in war, which he absolutely didn't. The story really took off when GD Vance brought it up into the national conversation during an interview with CNN's Dana Bash. Vance pointed out that Walz had been embellishing his military record for nearly 2 decades. Since then, Governor Walz has responded, but he didn't address the claims directly, which we will also take a look at later in the video. But we're here to shine more light on this growing scandal and provide you with all the information, including a clip of Walz himself calling himself a command sergeant major. We'll be taking a look at that and all that, given our commentary. But first, Bone, what do you make of all this? So what do you say about, what was your initial reaction when you heard about Governor Tim Walz embellishing his military career?
Well, I think that anybody that does stolen valor probably likes to wear their brother's BDUs and ask for change outside of Walmart's. I'm surprised that he gets to wear such a nice suit, is all I'm wondering.
Well, he's a politician. His politics pays well, man. And we all know that. And as grimy as it is, yeah. It's man, what can I say? It's a shame. It's a real shame because, getting to E8 in the military, I don't care what branch, it takes time and dedication. It's like they say, you ain't got a lot to kick it,
Well, from what I understand, that the movement in the military is that you try and move out of it to get better pay. And so usually you think that people that decide to make it a career have at least a little bit of passion for it, a little bit of respect for it, and would complete their training so that they can have a promotion.
Right on. Well, just to comment on that, you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay for your food. So you're basically, just coasting. It's all cream at that point, since you don't really have any bills unless you buy a car or get married, and then there's that. But but not taking anything away from our service men and women, but it's hard out here in these streets.
I wouldn't take anything away from them. I just know from being a government contractor that the way that you would do it is that you get a job in the military, and then you take their trainings and you take advantage of what you get from the benefits.
Yes.
And then you get in touch with one of the contractors that you are working alongside, and you go, hey, how do I get a job there? And then you just become a contractor because it pays better and you have better hours.
It's funny you say that. A lot of the guys that we saw, they were out there for a year at a time. I'm not necessarily sure exactly what their jobs were. You just see them in plain clothes. They're not part of the military. What are you doing? I'm a contractor. I just come out here and work and then go back and pay off all my bills and then come back out here. It's that's great. Okay. Right on.
Yeah. And if you do it overseas, you don't have to pay taxes.
Yes, that's true, dude.
Yeah, right. I got a buddy that's overseas right now, and he's a contractor, and he's just watching cameras, but he's getting bank and he doesn't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, right on. Hey man, good on him. I got another question for you. How do you feel about this specific claims he made, such as retiring as a command sergeant major and carrying weapons in a war? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I would like to say that I was a war hero. I,
Right on.
that sounds way better than you got sent to some where was it?
Italy.
Or something?
Yeah.
It's better than saying like I went to Italy and got fat. And it's like, no, you showed up fat. You showed up to Italy fat. Like that's the truth. It's way better to say that you're a war hero.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. But what's really funny, dude, is I'm in the same boat as you for sure. Like, service members are on another level, but the ones who go, boots on the ground, bullet sponges firing shots down range and having, shots back at them, dude, they're on another level. they're in their own freaking atmosphere. And so I've thought about this a lot. I don't want to be mad at him, but dude, I was hitting the freaking ceiling on my way home thinking about this. But it's like people fight and die or to earn to be able to say that they, were in a combat zone. People get maimed. You see this all the time. People come home without legs or, in a box. And what you do by faking that is you're denigrating them because they paid the ultimate sacrifice. They earned to be able to say, yeah, I was in a combat zone. You know what I mean? So I'm not a big Tim Walz fan to say the least,
Well, I don't know why you would have to embellish your job anyways, because if you earned your way to a high rank,
yeah,
you're, like you did career military, and then you can just say, hey, I did my job, I followed my orders,
yep,
and I did my duty,
then
it'd be fine, like all praise to you.
Right
but as
on.
soon as you start lying about things that you did, then it becomes fishy, and you do bring into question where it's like, oh hey, are you just gonna make people think worse of our service members out there?
Right. Yeah. Freaking.
Let's not like say that like the boots on the ground that are taking the bullets and firing the bullets, like that's a super important part. But all the jobs before it, like my buddy, he was in the Rangers, and he was talking about how it takes like over $100,000 and 16 people just to get one pair of boots on the ground.
Crazy.
And so all of those jobs are important.
Yeah.
So that we can protect freedom in America and all of the values that we share as Americans. But like when you start embellishing on your job, you're the one who's turning the camera around and saying all of these other service members that aren't boots on the ground are bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be seen like them.
Yeah.
Right. All these other service members, the majority of the military,
right,
is the bad people. I don't want to be seen as those people. I want to be seen as the cool people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically it. That's basically what you're saying. I had another question, but I totally forgot. So let's get into the clip where he's actually saying on camera that, many times that he was a command sergeant major, which, we've come to find out that he wasn't at all. Well, I mean, he was for a bit of time, but he didn't finish the training, so he couldn't claim to be a command sergeant major. He got out as a master sergeant, which is respectable. It's totally fine. But we all know why he did it. It was for political reasons, so he could, pander to the vets out there, and even more so to the combat veterans, But let's get into that clip real quick, and then we will discuss.
Veteran of the Army National Guard and a retired command sergeant major. As a retired sergeant major in the Army National Guard out of Minnesota. Retired out as command sergeant major.
I spent 24 years in the military, Congressman, as a command sergeant major. I know.
Tim Walz is one of those everyday people. Coach to the state champs. Teacher of the year. Command sergeant major.
I am a retired command sergeant major in the Minnesota National Guard.
I am a retired sergeant major in the Army National Guard. What I consider to be the response.
Well. So, I mean, like I said before we play that clip, it's all for political reasons. Shameful. Very, very shameful. You know, in him knowing that he's not a command sergeant major and knowing that he never carried weapons in the war. I didn't get that clip, but he did say it. He's on camera saying it. And what's even worse, he's using it as a stance to lessen the Second Amendment, so also very shameful. It's like the bottom of the barrel stuff, dude. It's like really grimy. It's like he belongs in Washington. That's where he belongs. I guess he was made for that.
Yeah, the clip with him talking about the weapons of war stuff, I think is really funny because the argument that he's stating in that statement where he's like, I don't want people taking in the weapons that I carried into war, right? He's insinuating first off that he was in war with firearms and he wasn't.
Yeah.
But let's take him at his face value. It's like, oh, okay, so you you were given weapons of war and you took it into battle, and that means that the American populace can't do what you do. You have to take that away from other people because you know how dangerous it is because you did it, and nobody else should have that privilege or something. Like it doesn't make sense. I did this thing and I'm very proud of this thing that I did.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do it.
I know.
You can't have access to things that I did because I'm special.
Yeah, right. He's trying to give himself a little bit more credibility with voters and service members. That's why it stings so bad knowing that he absolutely lied about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Any service member who, let's go to Okinawa, go to Italy, whatever, you go on a MEU, whatever, it's in service of your country. Honors for that. But it's like when you lie about it, now you look like a shitbird. You know what I mean? You weren't before, but now you are. And then to pile on top of that crap sandwich, you're using it to try to take freedoms away from Americans. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, let's get into this next clip. This one is with JD Vance and CNN's Dana Bash. When he brought the issue to the national conversation, he pointed out that Governor Tim Walz has been embellishing his military rank for nearly 2 decades, claiming he retired as a command sergeant major when he actually retired as a master sergeant. And that's something we covered. But Governor Walz, he has responded. We will talk about that. But let's get to the JD Vance clip.
His service. And I've never criticized what Tim Walz did when he was in the military. I criticized his retirement decision. And most importantly, Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. Now, I served in the United States Marine Corps, and you know this. And look, there are a lot of things that I'm proud about. I've never lied about what I did or overstated it because it would be beneficial to me in an election. I think that's what Tim Walz did. That's what I was criticizing. And yes, I do think it's scandalous behavior. Well, of course, Dana.
All right. So, I mean, JD Vance, he's hitting the nail right on the head. I couldn't have said it any better myself because, I've got scrambled eggs for brains. But, so what do you think about JD Vance bringing this issue to the forefront? Whenever we go through politics, especially when it's, a national election, you're going to get the op research, you're going to get the mudslinging. But this seems like a decent issue, like a real issue to bring to the forefront. You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of the cool things that I think it illustrates is that in Minnesota, this dude's been skating by with all of these things just fine this entire time, and nobody's ever really pulled it up, or if they did have issue with it, like, it's not on a global scale. But as soon as you got to the presidential level, like a federal election,
Yeah.
now all the things are being pulled out, and like the one nice thing that he can kind of sit on, which is his military career, you attack it as an embellishment. And like, what are the other things that he has to stand on? Hey, I'm not as old as Joe Biden. I'm okay with going bald.
Yeah. It's definitely not as rigorous as
Like,
governor.
what are the other good things that he has on top of his career? I'm a Democrat senator, like, I cost everybody tons of money whenever I vote.
Oh yeah, and
Like, he's got nothing to stand on other than his military career.
What
and
else?
then he's just sweeping that, doing a leg sweep on him, going, hey, this is an entire, like, you're being a fraud.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you could just tell the truth and people would be fine with it.
100%. Yeah. Yep. But he does have his I want to say his governor record. He tampons in little boys' bathrooms. I want to say from 4th grade to up to high school, 12th. What else did he do? He's done various other things.
Do little boys get that many nosebleeds in fucking
Exactly.
Minnesota?
Apparently. I mean, it must be really dry there. It's a dry environment, like Arizona or something like that. So the guy, and I think another part of it too is I think he's trying to be like the anti-Republican for Republicans. You know what I mean? So he hunts. He was in the military, but he likes all of these Democrat he has all these Democratic ideological stances, if I can speak, so he's trying to make himself palatable for Democrats and Republicans. For people, I just want to say this, for people who vote just because, he supports gun rights, but he agrees with abortion, I'll let that slide. Honestly, you won't ever get a perfect candidate, but there are some things you just can't let slide, and I think that's a big thing in this election. You know what I mean? And I think that, every Republican, conservative should go vote early if you have to. You know what I mean? Take a day off work if you have to, because if you don't, this guy's trying to make the tampons in boys' bathrooms a national thing, and not just.
And if you have the money, go to California and pay their homeless to vote the way that you want, so that you can win. That's what we should do. We should all drive to California and vote also. Vote twice.
If Democrats probably do that, I'm not gonna lie. But
that's exactly what happens.
Going to old folks' homes, it's like you don't have to look at it. Just let me sign that for you. All right, I'll take it from you.
Yeah, want this scarf? Want this scarf?
I know. My grandma made it, and then while she's doing whatever, digging through her, needles and stuff, trying to find a scarf. It's like, oh, here you go, young man. Take this with you. It's a little nibbly out today. Sorry, I kind of went off the rails. But last but not least, we bring you Governor Tim Walz's response to the recent allegations made by Senator J.D. Vance during his CNN interview. In this clip, Walz responds to these claims, but he doesn't really tackle the specific discrepancies Vance pointed out, but instead he makes a broad statement that seems to imply that military members' service shouldn't be examined. We want you watching and listening to make your own mind up. Here is the clip.
I'm going to say it again as clearly as I can. I am damn proud of my service to this country. And I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record. To anyone brave enough to put on that uniform for our great country, including my opponent, I just have a few simple words. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
Right on. Showing a little bit of respect. He didn't earlier while they were in the beginnings when he first got chosen. He was just running around on every network calling JD Vance weird. So apparently he's found a new sense of respect for him, which is good. I'm not gonna fault him for that, but no, he's a little late to the party. I already know who this guy is, but what do you take from all that? Like,
I love service members and I respect that man for serving.
mm-hmm.
And I respect myself for serving, and I do not have anything to say about the claims that were made, and I don't think that I should ever. I think that if we were to look into people's records all the time,
mm-hmm.
then maybe we would find stuff that's not that great, and
yeah.
that'd be mean. We don't want to be mean.
I know.
Imagine if I looked into JD Vance's claims on his record and found out that he didn't lie about it at all or embellish anything. Then I would look really bad, wouldn't I?
Yeah, 100%.
So I have zero claims or responses to the claims that have been made.
Well, like, okay, so what do you think he should have said instead to kind of like better weather this storm? Because it feels like it's still not going away, what could he have said to kind of temper the I guess the emotions around him that's going on right now?
If I were him, I would probably try and change the focus from what I am classified as a retired veteran,
mm-hmm.
and talk about how I was acting as that rank.
Mm-hmm.
Try and muddy the water, because he acted as that rank while he was training for the rank, and then he retired before he officially got the rank.
Right.
And so he was for a period of time seen at that rank,
mm-hmm.
but he didn't complete his training, so he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just try and muddy those waters. If I was him, that's what I would do.
Yeah. I think you get NJP'd for impersonating like a rank higher than yours. I think you actually get the not brought up in front of a court, but the non-judicial punishment. We called it a ninja punch. I think that's what happens to you. You get busted down for doing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in having your rank change is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because I deal with the Navy, but
mm-hmm.
so it's not National Guard or the Marines in these two cases, but in the Navy, if somebody's rank is incorrect in their email tag or whatever their name's highlighted as,
mm-hmm.
We have to tell them to go to the right officials to get that changed, because we can't change it.
Ooh.
Even though we're the ones that manage the entire global address list, we can't change that type of information. We can only pull it from the place.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Huge. Freaking. So knowing this, if any politician that's running for office, it comes out that they are, making themselves to be more than they really are, what what exactly? So I guess I'll say it this way: what should we do with Tim Walz?
I mean, I don't know necessarily what we would do with him. I do think um JD Vance is doing a good job
Mm-hmm.
at saying the things that needs to be said and trying to highlight things, and then when people ask him to elaborate, he's doing so pretty well.
Yeah,
I don't really see any fault in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, I guess the big thing would kind of have to be put into place where it's like, hey, what kind of things is he going to be in charge of, do you think, under a Harris Waltz administration? Like, would he be in charge of certain things, like she was put in charge of, say, the border and other things?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know where his job necessarily starts. I don't know how important he is,
Mm-hmm.
other than a grab for votes. because in the case of JD Vance, he's not that. Like,
Right.
if Donald Trump wanted votes, he could have went out and found like a person that would be more liked by, like, the Democrats or whatever, but he didn't. Like, Donald Trump polls better in JD Vance's district than he does.
Hilarious.
So he doesn't need him for votes. He's acting like he's more of a pick, I think, to be groomed for the job.
Right on. Not
So-
in a weird or creepy way. Yeah.
Hey, even so, you know.
Right on. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just that, like, what things could they bring?
Mhm.
And JD Vance is smart-ish, I guess. I mean, he seems like it. I don't know him too well because I don't live wherever he's at.
Mhm.
But I don't know. He seems kind of on top of it. I'm not too worried about vice presidents.
Right.
I am a little bit more worried about Waltz. In the
Yes.
sense that he's been around for a bit.
Mhm.
He's kind of in the thick of it, in a sense of, he's been in the Senate. He knows names. He wheels and deals. He's shown that he's willing to lie to get his job.
Boom.
JD Vance hasn't necessarily had that track record. Whether or not he will or has, or, if other things come out, I don't mind throwing him under the bus either. But
Exactly.
he's not the same type of pick. Like, JD Vance wasn't picked for political gain,
Mhm.
whereas Waltz absolutely is.
Yeah.
He's there to try and confuse people into thinking that the Harris administration isn't gonna come take your guns.
Mhm.
Like, well, we like hunting too.
Yeah.
I don't hate white men. I'm running with a white man.
Yeah. Or try to
like, yeah,
trans
but
your
that-
kids.
Yeah. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you put tampons in kids' bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
Why are those there?
You're a raging
Like,
lefty.
he's a psychopath.
Oh yeah. 100%. Yep.
Yeah,
100%
so
agree.
he's 100% employed, whereas JD Vance, I think, is less so. I think he's more like what I think Donald Trump is trying to be in the next part of his political career.
Right on.
Because if he doesn't win the presidency, he's not going to run again, but he will be a kingmaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we've seen that time and time again with Donald Trump. Shoot, man, I'm not gonna lie. So we've got two of my favorites. I like JD Vance. I'm not gonna lie, don't know much about his record, but I do know that he comes from poverty and he turned himself into a millionaire, right? And I also like Vivek. I wish we would have seen a Trump Vivek ticket, but that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. As far as what we should do with politicians that, are caught embellishing their achievements, I think that we as voters should shun them. He should be shunned. I don't think that the Harris Walz ticket should get another donation. They shouldn't get another any more money for their campaign. Do her campaign the exact same way we did in 2020 when she had to drop out. Just squeeze it till it just dies on the vine. You know what I mean? But that's what I think we should do. We as voters, especially independents, Republicans, if you're listening, spread the word. Go out and vote. This, next time you wake up with the, Harris Walz ticket, who knows what eggs will be? Who knows what your mortgage is going to be? The things that you need on a daily basis, they might be skyrocketed, and you might need a pallet of cash to buy bread. So get out and vote, spread the word. And do you have anything else for the people?
Not terribly too much. I mean, when it comes to voting, I would just say be educated in it. It's more important to know what you're voting for and who you're voting for than to vote. Right. Like if you're voting because you were told to vote a particular way, that should be a sign that you shouldn't vote. You should actually be making a decision.
Yes.
And if you made like an educated decision that Harris is a better choice over Trump for one reason or another, if you have a real reason, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just think that if you had a real reason, you wouldn't vote, because there's way more reasons not to vote for her over Donald Trump than to vote for Donald Trump.
Right. And it can't just be because she's black and a woman. Can't be that. That's totally off the table. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No, that's not a reason to vote for a person. I'm not voting for Donald Trump because he's like an old white guy. I'm voting for Donald Trump because I want to be able to pay for groceries.
At least at the very least that'd be nice. Not having to see your grocery bill double. See, have to choose whether you put gas in your car or, buy a head of lettuce. You know what I mean? That'd be nice not to have to worry about that again. We had that for 4 years with Donald Trump. And then, Biden got in there, and it's just been the painful. Before we sign off, man, okay, I was thinking about this. Donald Trump lost, and I was like, you know what? This is a good thing, because people will see what a Democrat-led, what their administration will do. And it did exactly what I thought it would. It crashed and burned, and people still will vote for them. It's crazy. But we did see a lot of people waking up this time. Immigration's top of mind for everybody. The economy is top of mind for a lot of people. So people are coming to the realization that, hey, they're rubbing their eyes, waking up. It's like, maybe Trump isn't so bad. Maybe I can deal with the mean tweets and I'll be fine. Be able to go to work and eat, be able to do all those things. That'd be nice. But
yeah, if you don't like mean tweets, I mean, who are you? They're awesome.
I know.
I think that they were hilarious. But
right?
I mean, we got Swifties for Trump now. Oh, that's cool.
That's hilarious.
Fine with that. Like, even like, yeah, she's, a demon, but you got the people aren't demons necessarily.
Right.
I don't know. It's like you've got two decisions. You've only ever had two decisions, and one is obviously better than the other.
Yeah,
because you've seen both of their administrations.
Right.
You don't even have to really look at the politics of it. You can just be like, oh, hey, is life better then or now? And it was better then.
Yeah. Don't kid yourselves out there, whoever. Don't kid yourselves.
We were safer then.
Yep. Oh yeah. But that's a wrap for the video today. Thanks for joining us on the Ham and Bone Show. We hope you found this discussion insightful and thought-provoking. Remember, your voice does matter, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts with us. If you enjoyed the show, don't be shy. Give us a thumbs up or a rumble, share the love with your friends, and hit the subscribe, follow button to join our community. Your support helps us keep the conversation going and uncover the truth one episode at a time. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.